from Hybrid Marine, and I'm here today to talk to you about marine hybrid engines. When we talk about hybrid engines in either boats or cars, we're talking about mixtures of technology where we mix the normal internal combustion engine with electric drive and electrical generation.
What do you do? Because I don't know what you do.
So here we have our parallel hybrid system. This particular one, it's a 50 horsepower marine diesel connected to a standard marine gearbox, propeller shaft and pallet in the normal way. On top of this we come with our motor generator here, 10 kilowatts, and this is connected via a clutch and belt drive mechanism to the output flange of the gearbox. And the basic principle here is while you have power in your system, you can drive electrically with the engine cycled down, the gearbox in neutral. When you run out of power from your batteries, you start the engine in the normal way and that motor automatically becomes a generator. You control the system via this simple little display which gives you battery parameters, the amount of power you're using at the time, and a small fuel gauge at the bottom indicating the power left of the batteries. See the three buttons give you infinitely controllable speed in forward and reverse on the electric motor.
Thanks very much. Take it easy.
Here we have the main battery bank. In this case it's 48 volts at 100 amp hour. Across here we have the main control box. This contains the central computer and the power controller for the motor generator, and then here we have a DC converter that's stepping down the 48 volts of the battery to 12 volts. So we've now been driving electrically and our batteries have become depleted. Our control system has told us so. We need to start the main engine. Here we have the typical engine control panel. We go to the normal starting sequence. This time that electric motor has automatically been converted to a generator, and here we can see we're now recharging our batteries from the features of the parallel hybrid is that it doesn't get in the way when the engine is running efficiently. So for high power use, the engine is mechanically connected via the prop shaft to the propeller in a normal way, and the hybrid can keep out of the way and lets the engine run in efficient mode through a low loss gearbox, and that's a much better transmission of power at the high power use. Now the electrical motor generator then comes onto the drive shaft, and that is much smaller than the main engine, and it's sized to a point where the engine would be at mid to low load use, where the hybrid can actually improve the efficiency of the engine. And it also means that the motor and generator are now one component and are a lot smaller, so that becomes much more cost effective, and so that this means that the price of the systems come down, and also ultimately you have a much more reliable system, because if anything in the hybrid breaks down, you've still got the engine you can use, or if anything in the engine breaks down, then the electrical drive can give you propulsion for a while. Whereas in the serial hybrid system, any one of those components breaks and the whole system's dead in the water. Welcome on board Chelonian. This is the first narrowboat to take one of our Canal boat hybrid systems. We installed this approximately 18 months ago, and we're using it for developing the system and running tests and trials. What I'd like to do now is take you through step by step all the components of the system and see how they all integrate together into the entire boat. So here's our hybrid installation. Our marine engine here, connected in the standard way to a marine gearbox, to the propeller shaft and to the propeller. On top of this we come in with our motor generator fitted directly above the gearbox, and through an electromagnetic clutch and a tooth belt it drives the output flange of the gearbox. So the basic principle is while you have power in your batteries, the engine's switched off and the gearbox is in neutral. You can then drive via the electric motor and drive the propeller shaft. When your batteries become depleted, then the control system tells you so. You then manually start the engine with the normal engine controls. That drives the boat. At that time that motor automatically becomes a 5 kilowatt generator for recharging your batteries. So at the rear of the engine here you can see the optional shaft clutch. Now this is used so that if you ever get caught out without power when you're in the marina or on a mooring or anchored, you can disconnect the propeller, and that allows you then to run the engine and the hybrid as a standalone generator. Let's now move on down inside and have a look at the brains of the hybrid system. Over here is the main control box that has the main computer inside there and the power electronics to control the motor generator. There's a number of connections here. This is a battery temperature sensor. We have another couple of sensors that go down to the engine for looking at various parameters on there, and then finally the display. Small LCD display module we showed you earlier. So we have a large battery bank here that can store a considerable amount of energy. It's an inland craft, so the most appropriate use of batteries are the wet lead acid cells that you see in forklift trucks and milk floats. These are built up from 2-volt cells. There's 24 of these all connected in series, giving us a total of 48 volts, in this case at 450 amp hours. There's quite a weight there. This battery bank is about 3/4 of a ton, so you adjust the ballast of the boat according to that. So over here we have our electrolyte top-up system. Being wet cells, they do need to be recharged occasionally. So all the cells are all connected together by plastic tubing, and a pump on here puts water through all the cells and it stops when they're fully charged again. Also, as part of this system is a vent which connects all the batteries together, and any gases produced during the charging are then safely discharged overboard. On this craft we have a number of high power inverters which converts the 48 volts to mains power, in this case 240 volts AC. And on this craft we have 2 units here, each rated at a peak power of 6 kilowatts. So we have 12 kilowatts peak power or 6 kilowatts continuous rating. So that can pretty much power any domestic appliance you can think of: washers, dryers, ovens, hobs, air conditioning, etc. So in essence, our hybrid gives you a one-stop power solution for your entire craft. Apart from providing the energy to do electric drive for you, it can also give you 12 and 24 volt requirements for small power appliances, and it can also give you mains power for your 240 volts or 110 volts AC. The battery bank can also accept charging from many different sources. When you're in a marina, you can have a normal mains battery charger. Offshore, you can have solar panels and wind generators, and these can all contribute to the power budget of your craft.